friends. Here we are, part 2, talking about these waves of light that have come in just after the 8-8 gateway. Now, here's the chart for August 15th. That's Saturday. And I just wanted to talk about this chart, and I would like to I would like to further talk with you about this chart, because there was so much to say. And I'm traveling. I'm in the mountains, so it's been the internet and everything has been it's easier to do it in 2 parts to upload the video. So anyway, okay, so let's get to it. So if you've listened to the other video, I gave a bunch of background on the dynamics of transformation that we're showing in this part of the chart, because it's so fascinating. But so many times with the Schumann resonance, what I find is that there are stories that unfold in the images, and they unfold sometimes over a period of days. And so the rest of the story is unfolding both from this chart going through to this chart today. And so I wanted to explain that to you, and I have some hopefully really cool things for you guys to check out. Now, once again, I'm going to focus more on the images in this video. Often I also go behind the scenes and talk about the numbers, quality, amplitude, frequency. And I will maybe do that in one specific area. But there was some very important information in the images, and that's why I really want to focus on that. So the key thing that's noticeable here is these little kind of black dots, okay? So these are very dense energies that are kind of floating along here at this level, and this is at about 7.83. That's the resonance for the earth. Okay, so that's there, and so here they are floating along. Now, what you also have prominent is these sort of divine energies, these jewel colors. And one way to think of this is incoming beneficial energy from the divine. Another way of thinking about it is our hopes and dreams as humans. Our people's hopes and dreams as one human race. And then as each individual has those desires in their heart, as you pray, as you ask God for, what you would like in your life, as you work to create and manifest your hopes and dreams in your life and live according to your responsibilities and how you live in life, all these things get put out into the human consciousness, and this is a reflection of that in my view. So right now we've got a bunch of, we've got some things floating around here in human consciousness, and they're trying to land. And I want to show you, see here, look, see this is very dense, okay? And it's made a line, it's like it's trying to ground itself, right? But it doesn't get all the way through the chart. It doesn't get to 40 Hertz. It's having a tough time. It's trying to attach itself. And so these are like, the way that I view this denser energy is it has like a parasitic nature. Like, for example, could be a parasitic thought form. It could be parasitic, interdimensional entities. It could be something in the non-physical. It could be real world interactions. And so this is the big movement now after the 8-8 gateway. So these energies are trying to land somewhere because they have become extremely ungrounded, okay? Where they were attached to, they have been freed from. So let me show you something. Okay, so I talked about how this wave here, the second wave, I went into a lot of detail in the first wave. And then in the second wave, I talked about, there's this whole concept of walking through the fire. And I love that Breitbart quote about walking through the fire, because it's basically about, it's about to pursue your aims. And this isn't about politics. It's just how it is. It's just when you're walking towards your own truth, right? When you're living and embodying your truth, yourself, there are tough challenges that come up. And so I talked a lot about that on the last video, so I don't want to go into that too much, but it was very, very, very dynamic and amazing to have this red energy here at 40 Hertz. And it really stirred up a lot of energies in the non-physical, in the astral layers, which is where you have entities and that sort of thing. But it also stirred up our energy fields. Now let me show you something that was so fascinating and that supported this stirring up nature. And that is that we had a solar flare for the first time in now I don't know how many days exactly, but in a few weeks. It's been at least a few weeks. So here's August 15th, and this chart is 7 hours behind because it's on GMAT or Universal Time. So it was at 7 a.m., and if we add 7 hours to that, we get 14. So let's go and see where that is at 2 p.m. On the 15th, that is right here. Okay, so there appears to not be, the chart appears to be very calm. But what's going on is that our shadow aspects and anything that we've let go of, okay, it's like it's floating around in the air trying to land. It also, I would just think of things like if you ended a relationship that wasn't good for you, do you reconnect or not? That temptation is there, right? I call this the offer is there. So when you're, for example, when you're trying to change your life for the better, what you'll find is that there's many offers that get presented to you to not change. And so I call this the offer. The thing is that as soul embodied living human beings, we have free will choice to turn away from God, but also to turn towards God and align with God, with the divine within you. And so when we're turning back into alignment, which is pretty much the human condition, right? That humanity has been out of alignment. So you got to laugh, right? Because it elevates the energy. So when you're turning back, what happens is where you've been off the path, everyone in that frequency band where you were reaches back out and wants you to come back, right? And so I call this the offer. And, in TV shows or cartoons, it'll show the devil on one shoulder and the angel on another shoulder, and a character will be trying to think, do I want to do this or this? And both are whispering in his ear. Well, here's how it works with, and so I'm talking here about concepts now related to, you could say that these are concepts in spiritual warfare, but I don't think about it, I prefer to think about these from 0 point, because if I put myself into a duality-based war mindset, then I'm actually continuing to promote that situation, and I'll explain that another time. But you can still have that mindset at 0 point, where the outcomes might be very similar, but because you're at 0 point, holding a neutral energy of non-judgment, basically you don't get engaged with the energy. You can say no to offers and maintain your inner strength and calm. Like you do that from a place of inner strength. So, for example, like if you've ever been in one of these very sticky relationships where it's so magnetic, right? And even though like it's been, you know that it's not good for you, and you still want to call the other person or or you get a phone call and you're like, should I call back or something like that? So these are the offers, okay? So these are the offers from the dark forces working through others who then present in offers to us in our lives, or actual dark forces in the non-physical. And so we have a choice. The reason is that because we're soul embodied beings, we have that actual divine authority to act from a place of co-creation nested within us. And this is very powerful because we're not really taught about this. We're not taught about the essence of God, that we're children of the Creator, and that gives us the ability to access that energy, to embody that soul essence. And it feels so beautiful, and to bring that into our life. Therefore, offers can be made, but no one can force you to go against what is in your heart. And that comes in different, that comes in a variety of expressions, okay? From one extreme to another to the middle. But it's so fascinating. I always remember the story of the woman in Burma who was held for over a decade in prison in her home. Okay, so she was, I think she was anti-communist, I want to say. But anyway, she was held in prison, and it's now Myanmar. But at any rate, when she was released, and I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, my spirit was always free. They couldn't chain my mind, type of an idea is what she said. So that even though she was restricted to house arrest, that her soul was free. Her thoughts were her own. She had that choice, right, of how she wished to have her attitude, to have the resilience to get through that. I always thought that was, fascinating way that she approached it. Anyway, so so that's an example at one extreme. I just wanted to throw that out there. It was a quote that I thought about for a very long time. This is okay. So you had this after you had this large wave, okay, and you had the red go to 40 hertz, very unusual, and then you basically had like a lifting out of the energy, which I described in the last video, a lifting out of 4D energy, not in the highest good, from these planes or from our human energy fields. Then we had this here happen, and I thought it was so fascinating because you know what it looked like? It looked like these hordes here, but transformed. So here, I'll show you. See, I had talked about how these were people, and the light was coming into the heart and the mind, and this one not so much, okay? And then I looked over here, and there's basically 3 sets of movement again. But it looked like they were opposite, like the one that didn't have as much light into it was here, and it had basically broken apart. Okay, and what happens when it breaks apart? It releases all of this detritus, and that detritus, 4D energy, 4D entities that's not in our highest good as human beings, or it's aspects of our own shadow that need to transmute, this very dense energy here. Okay, that is shown as the darker energy here. So you can see here that it's like as it breaks apart, it's reaching down. Okay, it's attempting to connect to have a structure to stay, because this wave has come in and completely frazzled it. Okay, created complete chaos, not for us. Okay, unless you have a very highly embodied shadow element, but and then you had this beam of white light, and so it's almost like a sieve. Okay, it lifts up the denser energy, and it lifts it out of our field, because when your field is full of the divine light, that is you. Okay, it really doesn't come. This appears to be outside of us because we're looking at a chart of the Schumann resonance. This wave appears to be outside of us, friends, but it is inside. Our heart calls out for this, and we manifest this. Okay, I know that the scientific definition is that lightning creates this, but I have seen incidences in the charts, and I'll do a video on that another time because it's a fascinating story, where normally this light would come in, something happened to defeat the human spirit, okay? And the light, and then this wave didn't come in, okay? But then a major event happened that caused such an outpouring of compassion that the wave of light came in like a few days later. It was fascinating. And I'll tell you more about that another time. So the other example I would give you is during the Hawaii missile crisis. Now, during the Hawaii missile crisis, which was January 13, 2018, where all the Hawaiians on their cell phones got a text message about an incoming nuclear missile, okay? And I'm just going to invoke the sacred flame of discharge over this and intend the highest good for all, and know that what appears to be the darkness in our lives, or what appears to be the difficulties in our lives, is always turned to the highest good by the divine. So basically, they all got this, okay? And they were all like, it was so terrible. I mean, you may have seen the videos. People were just freaking out. I mean, you would too, right? If you got a note like that something like that was headed towards the Hawaiian Islands. That was the. So then it was released that, okay, it was a false alarm. Okay, it was, but an hour or two passed. I don't know how long. I guess actually it wouldn't have been that long. It would have been some amount of time passed. Maybe it was 15 minutes. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know the details of that. But, and then it was false alert. Everything's fine. Well, the day that happened, the chart was just solid white resonance. Okay, which is a resonance that tends to be connected with our higher natures, expanded dimensional states, divine support. That's why I say that we call it in, because the entire world was aware of that event. So you not only had the people in Hawaii, you had the entire globe, okay, focused on, I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, I think that's probably what we were all focused on, okay? And sending love and support and compassion and all this stuff. That's what I'm trying to show you here and talk to you about, which I also talked about in a more personal way on the last video. So I wanted to have something a little less personal and more about the mechanics of, in general, of the energy in this second part of the video. So what I'm saying is that, friends, we call this in, like we are in co-creation. And also, I said it on the last video, but we don't get saved by others, okay? And even in this quote, now I put it up, but I didn't explain it. Hold on one sec. Okay, here it is. It took me a while to find this and do a bunch of research around this yesterday. So this is the quote that I had wanted to talk about yesterday, but I had to include it in this video. This is a Bible passage, and this is Jesus talking, and he says, "I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture." John 10:9. So in another part of the scripture, the God, the Creator, the Most High, the Creator of the universe says, I am that I am. That's the Creator's name. The Creator says, my name is I am that I am. And so basically, I am, okay, is the name of the Creator. So when Jesus said, I am the gate, whoever enters through me will be saved. So do you see here how the mechanism is through our choice? So a lot of times when we think about the divine and we think about celestial support, we think about being saved by that without us doing that much, okay? And that can happen because all we have to do is ask, right? I mean, I have experienced, I'm sure all of us have had those situations where just something amazing has happened and you get through it and you're like, oh my God, there was divine intervention here. Well, I had a friend who who had that happen. And in a situation where on the freeway, large vehicle, just all the stuff, where they just went into the accident, came out the other side, and literally did not have a scratch on them. I mean, it was just phenomenal. Okay. And so is that and they definitely, as was happening, prayed. Okay. But I think that the angels know the intentions of our souls. So if there's not time, there's that choice point from the soul level is available. But what I'm trying to say is that in our lives, when we have free will choice, and we're making free will choices, see here, whoever enters through me, I make the choice to enter. The I am is the gate. So if I look at Bible verses and scripture, because I value all scripture, as because it's divinely inspired. So the gate, okay, how I look at this is the gate is the point of the soul connection represented by the sun in this image, the point of the soul connection in the human heart. That's the gate. And when we open that gate, when we consciously choose to bring through that divinity, to align with that divinity in however that is for you, okay, but to align with it in our lives and start making choices where our guidance, our inner guidance says, this is the right thing. Our conscience says, yes, do this, make this choice. I am the gate. So you open Jesus taught us how to do this, okay? How to open the gate of the soul in our heart to connect with the I am that I am, with the divine essence that birthed us, okay? That is the living force within our body, the soul essence, who we truly are, available to us throughout our whole physical form and energy body, okay? Because this body is the temple of the soul, the living temple of the soul, the living temple of I am that I am. That's who you are. That's who you are. That's what Scripture says. And this is what, Jesus came to teach us, right? He came to teach us these things. But what I want to say is that it's our choice. Like, this is the time in history for us to make the conscious choices, right? When we enter the gate, whoever enters through me will be saved. What does that mean? Whoever enters through me, if I choose to make the connection through the portal of the portal of the soul and the heart, and the portal of the heart, I will be saved. What does that mean? That means I can have a one-to-one relationship with God, with the divine, with the creator, with the goddess, with, the divine essence, my soul, my true self. I can have that one-to-one creator experience of co-creating with that creator through me. Now, I don't remember it because my mind is kind of the sieve, right? The program that keeps me from remembering that. And that's what Jesus didn't have. He didn't have that limitation. He fully embodied divinity as others have done, right? As other key spiritual figures have done. So they will come in and go out and find pasture. They will come in and go out. It doesn't say that they will only come in, right, in this verse. It's not that you have to leave the body. You connect in the portal of the heart, and then you have to come in. You leave the body and go to heaven, right? No, that's not what this says. They will come in and go out. It's free flowing through the toroid of the energy field of the human being. In, out, in, out, in, out, a one-to-one living, breathing relationship with divine essence through me. I say humbly that this is what Jesus was saying. And find pasture and achieve 0 point. Right? Because what do you do in a green pasture? Well, Psalm 23 Psalm 23 says, He makes me lie down in green pastures. What do you find there? You find rest, right? Psalm 23 is all about being anointed. Psalm 23, though I walk through the shadow of though I walk through the valley of the shadow of darkness, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. In the beginning of it goes, He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. So we are protected. It's the soul connection that protects our living life, like that divine aspect of us that never forgets us. We forget who we are. We forget it. We forget that relationship until we make the conscious choice to re-enter that relationship. And then through me will be saved. And then what does that mean? To me, what it means is that, see, they will come in and go out. And Jesus said, this you will do and more, right? He spoke to the people, and that's what he said. That what he did, this you will do and more. So what this means is that we can create a new earth, if you will, in our physical bodies. Our physical body is the new earth when we shift to this energetic structure, if that makes sense. And the reason I'm talking about this and the Schumann resonance is because this, to me, is what these waves support if we choose. I mean, they support whatever creation we choose, and all choices are valid. If you don't want to follow this path right now, that's your free will choice. Totally fine, right? That's the Creator doesn't judge, and our soul doesn't judge. We're actually the ones that judge. But what I'm saying is that it's not just about ascending, it's about descending. Will come in and go out, about bringing that divine essence into the body, right? Once you open the portal of the soul, then you can live and breathe that in the physical body. So we'll be saved. What that means is that I now am alive in the body with my divine connection. It's like I was before. It's like when I personally was not connected with my soul, okay? I couldn't feel emotions. I couldn't feel love anymore. I couldn't feel happiness. I was just all fear and anger. Okay. It's I've actually written articles about this, but anyway, it didn't feel like living. But then when I was able to come to this understanding and learn the energy mechanics of how to do this, how to open the portal of the heart to achieve the one-to-one soul connection, to open the gate, that life force that flows through me, let me explain something. I feel alive in a way that I never felt before, that I didn't feel, maybe since childhood. It feels so good. I feel the living, breathing life in me every day. And and people notice it. People who have been able to flow this through their field and live it, embody this essence. I call it the soul essence, the divine, an ascended state, an expanded dimensional state in the human energy field. But you can feel it in another person immediately, and it heals. It heals my body. It makes my body feel wonderful. I'm not saying that I don't have any issue, of course we all have our soul path to walk and different challenges in life, but it makes me feel amazing. And it helps heal my life. It helps support me. That's what this is, this light. And then what happens is as we bring it into the body, it transmutes and transforms the energy of our field, the substance that we've been created from. And so all this red here is all the transformational work that's happening. So what happens is these guys here were super small, and now they're bigger. Why? Because they're in an expanded dimensional state. They were fully almost covered by shadow, but their hearts desired the light, or their mind asked for it, or the creative influence within them. And they walked through the fire here. Okay, they walked through the divine fire. And here's the dimensional state shifting. Look, here's the head. Then you see head, like in a funhouse mirror. It's not a fun process. But we get all of this support. And then we get even more support here that clears the astral fields of our human energy field. And then here we are. So much more light inside the body, the astral field has significant clearing that can be done, that has been done, and more that can be done, right? So this is a person who's in process, who's in the process of changing their life. Now, this person here who wasn't able to, or didn't want to, right here, have that light, that broke apart because this light, this expanded dimensional state, brings chaos to lower, denser dimensions. It brings chaos. It breaks them apart. And when it breaks apart, look at all this this dark energy that's been released. Each one of these little pixels is dense, and there's so much packed in there. Okay, like almost like a black hole. Then when the light comes, it expands it and breaks it apart. And so it's kind of like a piñata, the piñata gets cracked open. And it can be a painful process, right? When your heart cracks open or whatever shift you're going through, and then all of this falls out, right? And look, it falls out down here, it falls out, and it's like, help. It tries to have its forces of the similar frequency look, here's a square, okay, here's a rectangle, create a structure for it to stay and land, because look, all these heinous things that have happened on the earth, and heinous things, basically, they're losing the battle because human beings are choosing to release. If you choose to release it within your field, and any frequency within your field, then it can't stay on earth, because it's not really natural to the earth. It's not natural to the earth. Okay, the Luciferian forces, the Satanist approach is to I don't want to go into it too much, but it's anti-life, right? It's anti-life, it's anti-soul. And so it really doesn't have any, therefore it can't have its own energy except at a very low bare minimum. It has to take the energy from others. The dark forces have to take their energy from others. And that's why it's trying to ground here. It's trying to land on something. See, it's trying to land on the yellow and red, because it can't connect with this is too expanded. If this dark denser dot tries to go and connect with this white resonance here, do you know what's going to happen? It's going to break apart into a million pieces. That is what's going to happen. It's kind of like the high pitch on a wine glass, and then it just cracks apart when the opera singer sings the super, super high note. Well, that's basically that mechanism here. If this dense construction, okay, meets a resonance that is high pitch, in sound it would be high pitch, but high frequency enough, then it's just, and then look what happens. See, you get all of this dark dots falling everywhere. Now this is really super interesting. Okay, so here's a person who has brought light in. They're in the middle of transforming. They're realigning themselves with the divine within. They don't really look like a person here. There's a lot going on there. This almost looks like, maybe this is the legs and stuff. But do you see energetically that there's a scaffolding being built into the earth? Okay, so this person is someone who's made the choice, like, to transform within themselves, whether it's conscious or unconscious, because you don't have to understand mentally all the pieces to be able to get it done. Okay, and because the divine is just much more flexible than that. So it's starting to construct a scaffolding here. Now this is for the higher light, the red and yellow or gold, right? See the jewel colors here? Okay, so there's some jewel there where it's attempting to restructure the energy field to create a new scaffolding for itself, right, on Earth. Because, boy, sometimes you just get hit with something and your life just gets shifted so much. And so then you have to reground yourself. Sometimes you have to remake your life. And so that's the process that's going on here with this energetic scaffolding. But do you see how the density is attempting to reattach? It's making an offer. Don't leave me out of your life. Friends, sometimes you have to be ruthless in the way that you make your choices. And when we use idiot compassion and again, let this come back into our life, then we create a landing space in our energy field for that energy to connect. Then we create a place for it on earth because it's in you and it's in me. If I choose that, and if you choose that, so I'm just going to cancel, clear, and invoke the sacred violet flame because it's not in you if you don't choose that, right? What's in you is what you choose. And now I know there's what's happened to you, but you get to choose how you deal with that. You get to choose what your energy field is like, what your approach is like, what your attitude is like, no matter what has happened to you. Like the woman who was under house arrest, but her mind was free. Her soul was still free in her body. She didn't let it break her. Okay, so what's fascinating is this. Okay, what does this look like? This looks like something that's not supposed to be here. It almost feels like a UFO, but not a good one. Okay, because there's plenty of stuff up in the sky that looks very friendly. Okay, but this looks like a mean bad one, doesn't it? And see what it's doing here? It's analyzing the structure. It's like an intruder that's come in. It's analyzing this new structure and it's saying, how can I reconnect? How can I survive? Okay. So let's say, for example, that there are people who are being arrested who have done heinous crimes like against children, because that's in the news and that is happening and that has happened. And then you have, so when you have someone who does something like that, there is a demon acting through them. Okay. Because that is a demonic force that acts through the human being. In my view, that's not natural to our natural Christed state, right? When you are an innocent baby born, it's very rare that are psychopaths made or born? I don't really know. Okay, I don't know. I don't know the science on all that, but I think I've read only 1% of the population are psychopaths, 4% are sociopaths. That's still a pretty big number of people, okay? Because I think in the United States, that would be something like 13 million people. Now, this is why, okay, if you're just a regular old normal person, this is why our conscious choices matter. Because when we leave our government, when we leave our county government, our school boards, our, how family life is directed, different kinds of policy, when we just sit back and allow ourselves to be, saved, okay, without making the conscious choice to open the gate ourselves, okay, then what happens is, see here, whoever enters the gate through me, that person makes a conscious choice. They open the door and they walk through. Okay, that takes some effort. It takes an application of effort. And in your life, that could look like a lot of steps, or, it could look like some hard work. It could look like taking on some responsibility. So when we're not willing to do that, guess who decides to take power? Okay, the sociopaths and psychopaths, okay? That's who then, gets themselves elected, because those are the people that are interested in power. Okay, the rest of us are interested in just living our lives. We just want to have, we just want to live peacefully, right? We want to live peacefully, have a good life, have love, do meaningful work, whatever it is, okay, that you desire. But when we don't, okay, I'm just going to pull out a little so you can see. Do you see the intruder alert? Do you see that? It's like it's not human based. It's like it's not of the planet. It's like it's an alien intruder. And when I say alien, I mean like a dark force. Okay, I don't mean actual beings. I mean like in the non-physical, like what would appear to be like a demonic entity or something like that. Something that is parasitic, that's not here to help humanity, but is here to take advantage. Here it is, trying to get itself inserted again, okay? Because look, if a human body dies, the spirit that's in that body can recycle, basically. Now, if that human being, if a demonic possession has happened, okay, basically, that demon is looking for a new home, okay? So if all of us are bringing in the light, there's not as many homes left for them. Okay, if human trafficking is decreasing, if sexual abuse is decreasing, if trauma is decreasing, if war is decreasing, okay, if violence in our cities, in our urban cities, is decreasing, if that was decreasing, then there's not room for this. Okay, that's why violence is, violence for violence sake promotes a home for this energy. It's not life enhancing. It's anti-life. It's looking for a home. Okay? So the way to not give it a home on earth is, your body is of the earth. Everything that created your body is of the earth, right? All the food you ate, your mother who birthed you, it's all our bodies are made out of the material that is this planet. So when I free my body of these influences and these parasitic influences, and I realign with the divine within, then there's no home here. Then there's no home for them to go to. Okay, so what happens? This breaks apart, and then you see all of this drama here. Because there's no home. So now it's attempting to connect with this red frequency, okay, the red energy, and it's making a line. Here's another dark line, okay, but it can't ground in because there's no home for it. But yet, look here, see, in different little places, you see that it's floating around, attempting to find a place, right? Attempting to find a place. And so here, okay, so here's the being that didn't shift. Okay, here is, now it's very compressed. This energy is very compressed. And then look what happens. The divine light comes through because the creator doesn't leave anyone behind. So even the dense beings, okay, even the demons are offered life by the creator. Okay, even all of us are offered that. No one is above another in that way. And the dense dark energy, the chaotic force that chooses to accept that light within, look what happens. There's a huge explosion of light within the center of that being, and look at all the density begin to break apart. See, now it changes color, and it's a deep red with some denser energy there, but see how it's now broken apart once this gorgeous jewel color of divine light is offered. It's beautiful. So let's go to today's chart. So that's right here in today's chart. Okay, that's right here. There's the jewel color right there. And so here you have this energy. Okay, it is, look at where it is now. Some of it is still in a dense state. Okay, some of it did. You see, the creator offers even to the lower forces, to all of the creator's creations, to all of the beings, okay, in the world, receive this offer if they choose. Here they are at 7.83 hertz. The attempting to stay at the core frequency of Gaia, of the Earth. Okay, so this is what we're fighting. Okay, here it is again, trying to attach and ground itself. It cannot. It's it's just not possible. See, that's blue. It's just not possible. But friends, is it attempting to find a space to seat itself? Yes, it is. And that space that where it attempts to do that is in the human energy field. So your conscious choices are what determines, your conscious choices are what determines the outcome here, friends. You matter that much. You matter that much. You matter that much. So I just wanted to read this quote, and then I'm going to show you something surprising and unusual, because I like to add some inspiration. And I have found this quote very inspirational. And I reread it periodically. Walk toward the fire. Don't worry about what they call you. All those things are set against you because they want to stop you in your tracks. But if you keep going, you're sending a message to people who are rooting for you, who are agreeing with you. The message is that they can do it too. And that's how I feel when I read this, that I can do it too. So friends, it's a challenging process. When we bring the light in, when we open the gate within our heart, everything gets stirred up that was wrong in our lives, or everything gets stirred up where we had denser emotions and we feel the pain. And we're seeing these trends at a global level. Okay, there's an incredible amount of global activity, but here's what I want to show you in this photograph. Do you see what's hidden here? Look. Let me put on this. All right, so look what's here, okay? There's a line here, a line here. Do you see that? Let me show you here where I did it a little bit better. Do you see what's hidden there? This is not from another world. This is my view. I'm not going to go through why I think that right now, but I've spent a lot of time analyzing images like this in the sky and thinking about them. I believe this is an advanced technology. It's a triangle type plane, and it is cloaked. See that? Look at that. You see how, look at this photo, okay? Here's the light of the sun. Here's what the normal, oops, let me change it back to pointer. Here's what the normal cloud looks like. Here's what the cloud looks like here. Now, here's what the sky looks like without the clouds. Okay, and so you see the quality of what this all looks like, but then you see here, right? Can you see? I'll just do this here. Can you see that? So just like we have divine support, right? We have angels that protect us, that we can call on. We have our guardian angels, spiritual beings that we can call on to work with us. But our society, in my view, has much more capabilities than we are aware of. There are many reasons why I say this, but it's my view that technology is much more advanced than people are aware behind the scenes. Okay, and we still make planes and triangles, okay, even though we have an advanced technology, and one here that is cloaked. Because you can see here, right? See, look how the quality is just completely different. See how it's like almost like a rainbow here? See that? See how the lines in the clouds are different? Okay, then look at this. This is the actual cloud. Totally different. So friends, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, not only because we have divine support. Okay, we have divine support. And we have that divine support assisting us in transmutation. But we have advanced technologies that I believe are protecting us in our highest good, okay, that are aligned with the highest good, that are that represent that in human form.